Quick, like and subscribe in the next 4 seconds if you want good luck every day this week.
What was in it? Wow, fucking terrible. No wonder you're not on TSM no more. Jesus. I shouldn't have said that to Ninja's duo. Because that means Ninja might not let me play Ninja Warriors. Not reverse 2K. That was actually, you almost killed me, to be honest. That was close. I just got, my ping is just failed me out. Like, if I didn't have 0 ping, I feel like you definitely shit on me there. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you definitely shit on me if I went 0 ping.
Reverse picks it up, he brings it home as well. We see 2 World Cup players going head-to-head. The old Vanguard, they still prove that they have what it takes to go up against all these other insanely stacked players. There was so much going on there, Shy. That launch pad, he's also got the 4 crash pads, so he's got as much rotation as he could need right now with that 1 flopper, which is, if you take a couple of those storm ticks, is so much
so
more.
You can see Reverse DK popping off, and he's holding that #1 spot with 20 total points.
Hey, Fortnite Moments fans! Want more V-Buck giveaways? Make sure to use code BEAST in the item shop. And we'll continue to give out redemption codes just like this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out.
Clix, now known for being the Pleasant Park king, obviously not changing his drops, only has to take out 1 person here to get the whole drop to himself, and this is looking pretty good for Clix though. This is a box fight, this is toe-to-toe, this is where Clix reigns supreme as he gets those cones around, just making sure he has as many builds as possible, gets the player in the box, just got to come through and take this one. No, the player getting away a little bit, but there it is, Clix coming through. His edits and his build placement is just so incredible. If I had qualified for this round and I was looking where to go, I don't think Pleasant Park would be first on my list, as Roller goes down and Clix hitting him with a little bit of the emote. Again, we talked about it. This is about conditioning your drop. This is round 2. He's like, hey man, I don't know why you're coming here. I want it for myself.
Yeah, I mean, he started to drop at Pleasant Park, but then Clix basically made it his creative box fight map, and that's basically done. You're in the wrong queue there. You don't want to fight against Clix. You're absolutely right.
It's what he does best, what he practiced so much in that long competitive break that we had around over the New Year area. That is where Clix just went to town. He was in creative. He was just practicing his mechanics back to back to back. We've seen recently, though, obviously Clix being known as not having the greatest kind of competitive knowledge. Maybe his rotations being a little bit weaker, his game plan, and he's kind of gone under the wing of Bizzle, obviously one of the greatest minds in competitive Fortnite. And it's really showing here. Clix is playing incredibly consistent and showing that he can alter his game strategy for these set lobbies.
I don't even think it's the brain that's the issue. It's just his temperament and his patience. Bizzle just gets to hold him back just enough for him to actually think about what to do next. But still, having Bizzle on your back, I believe he can make literally anyone have the best game sense possible. And you pair the mechanics of Clix with, that combination, it's absolutely huge. Another player, though, that has good mechanics, a good brain to boot too, is Illust. He'll try to make quick work of this box fight. Voom is going to have to just try to just get away if possible, because less shields up against Illust, it's going to be very hard to win.
Yeah, and you say he's got the loadout to make a quick fight possible too. He had 12 crash pads. I have no idea where he's found those. And comes through with the low ground side jump, just takes down Voom with style, and he's still got 11 crash pads now. So I don't know. I was obviously talking to Reet the other day, and a phenomenally good player out of NA West, incredibly aggressive controller player, dropped 19 eliminations in his semi-final qualifier, and it was off the back of crash pads. If he gets a full set of crash pads, he pretty much just says, all right, this is my game. The Fortnite gods have blessed me. I'm going to W key everyone because I can just get in their box. And that's what we're seeing here with Illust. It's just such a big advantage to have when you have an item that can pretty much just guarantee no piece control needed straight in the box. And if you back your shotgun aim, you're going to win almost every fight.
But how far does that go, right? Because you're going to have to do that every game if that's your game plan. You're using a lot of mobility early, which you won't have late. And that's where I think these aggressive players trip up. Yes, Reet places very high, but how consistent is that, right? Can this player too do that too? Because Furious is very used to that. He has 3 crash pads. Will he be able to do it too?
Yeah, very aggressive player as well. And he was also playing a lot. He played through the whole NA West DreamHack last night. So he was playing solos for almost 9-10 hours yesterday until the wee hours of the morning. I want to see, does he have the mental fortitude to run it back today? As he gets a nice little angle here, this player has no idea. And he does. He walks straight up into it and he goes down. We see XMB falling here to Furious. Furious doesn't even need to use the shotgun. AR out just takes him down. And looks like that Peely is going to have to go back on vacation for this next lobby and wait it out.
The Banana King has fallen. He had such a good run in the Invitational, looking so good, coming out of absolutely nowhere in every endgame and controlling height without really any of the necessary loot you need to survive up there. But now XMB's not going to be in this game. Furious has a nice win behind him to keep moving forward. Here are two players, though, who are also on the up-and-coming, Crispy and Bandit.
Crispy and Bandit looking to kind of set up here, but it looks like it's going a bit slow right now. I'm not sure where the fight is breaking out. More just kind of get that piece control around them if they can. Bandit has that blue tack. He's only got 10 bills though, so Bandit needs to make something here. I think we talked about earlier, Sundown talked about disengaging and knowing when to. I think at this point, he is too deep. He can't disengage. He has to take this fight, and he has to win it if he wants to kind of pick up some momentum here as he does. Crashpad comes out, he goes in the box, but player dips out now. Now he's in their box, and like you said, Shy, this is where the consistency goes down because he's now in an enemy box with no builds as he launches him out in the area. Bandit only has 4 health right now and no builds, and yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Shy. 2 minutes later, we see it. Those crash pad players can go against you just as easily as they can go for you. It's just pandemonium, and it's whoever can react quicker.
What to do next. I hope that doesn't fully affect his mental. We're tuning in with Cuddle Bear Gamer 1, who I'm pretty sure is Innocence, and he's on his own fight all the way over in the water.
Yeah, it is. Cuddle Bear Gamer looking to try and not be so cuddly here in this first fight as the boat comes in. Maybe one of those rotates that will change up in future. These players probably didn't know they were going to run into each other out here, but Innocent's happy to run into this fight with the SMG out. Does some serious damage. Just notice, wasn't even carrying a shotgun. I'm guessing based on this loot path and this drop, maybe just doesn't actually have the ability to get a shotgun on this rotation, but proves he doesn't need it here, but he's not looking the greatest on loot for it.
I mean, it's so early in the game. First zone barely just showed up, and people are starting to just see where to go. That being said, Innocence is ahead of the game. He's there with the beams. He's down for the count and looking to just deal that damage.
He's dealt some serious damage. We tune back in over a Trick. Someone I haven't seen too much. Don't know, maybe first time in the qualifiers. Didn't notice him too much last weekend. Got 2 peppers in the inventory. Had a lot of discussion around the mobility in the game right now. Who's carrying peppers? Who's carrying crash pads? I think just from watching some of those players that really are dominating in these stack lobbies, like Stretch, like Arkram, who are just putting the crash pads to ultimate use. But the peppers still have their own rights as well, especially for mid-game disengagements. As Trick looking to pull out a trick here and be a little bit sneaky, not opening up this chest. So Jelsi might come in here into this little trap here, the chest, and want to get it, and Trick is waiting right on top of it.
Oh, this audio cue is so unfortunate for Jelti if he does come by, but he's avoided the house. He's moving on. I'm pretty sure we've always seen this house be a type of trap. No, there's someone else actually who's coming in. Doesn't have to be Jelti. I think Trick is going to drop down. Big charge shot, but he misses in the box. That's another spray that just lands, though.
Yeah, interesting. Like, I mean, I remember me and Sundown were talking about this a couple of tournaments ago. It's just using those old school Battle Royale-esque strategies. With all the building in the game right now, it's a lot of kind of like brute force fights in Fortnite, but just kind of going for those old sneaky strategies, hiding on top of the chest, hiding around the corners, just getting those advantages. And they do. That's a really big elimination. And Trick now has so much loot, he can't even decide what he wants to do with it.
I mean, what I looked at before when we just tuned in with Trick, we were talking about peppers versus crash pads. I feel like the more offensive players, aggressive players, they go for crash pads in their inventory. Trick having peppers early, just a few shields and guns, might just want to stick to getting more shields, keeping those peppers, and staying alive for late game.
Ninja on height now, that's a bit of a throwback shot. This is what we're going to see. If Ninja on height can pull off a win on height, that would just be phenomenal to watch. Kind of coming around here. Good drop spot knowledge here to know he can crouch through that window to get a nice little angle around here. Steamy stacks. A PY we haven't actually seen too much drama around, to be honest, surprisingly. It's a great PY on the map, but the fight's breaking out, and Ninja on height jumps in. He goes off the height. That was so close. He was on 4 health there in a single tick zone. He had 3 more seconds to close out, and he does, taking down Polarized, a big name in the finals today, and I'm not entirely sure who Ninja on height is.
I don't know either, but you were talking about classic Fortnite. That's one classic fight for drop ownership. Staying in the storm. I didn't even hear any SMGs, just classic shotgun trades. Good job by Ninja on height, and we'll see if he does take that high ground and win the game.
He's got that extra mobility out of Steamy as well, so the Storm fight there, not such a big deal. Got his Storm Surge tags now as well, so he can rotate a little bit late. We see some of those players going for those later rotates, sitting in zone a little bit, and it does work well, but if you come from an uncontested drop, you need to find your Storm Surge tags somewhere, as we have already lost 15, so maybe NAE's gearing up today, maybe not going to see too much of those Storm Surge issues, but if you're going to get Storm Surge in any game, it's usually in those first couple games when, like you said, Shy, people are trying to find their play style. They're usually playing a bit more passive, feeling out the games, feeling out who's around them, and not taking as many fights. So if we're going to see it at any point, we're probably going to see it in this game.
Yeah, you're talking about Storm Surge. Let me just quickly give you guys a rundown of it in the shortest way possible. Basically, you have to deal damage, and if you don't deal enough, you start taking damage. So Zexros is going to want to get closer to the middle of the map, base up like he is right now, and then just look for tags long range, get that damage dealt more so than all his enemies around him.
Yeah, he's got that burst R in hand too as well. That extra zoom that was added in the most recent season of Fortnite, it helps a lot for those long-range tags. This is usually a go-to choice for a lot of the comp players getting their tags as Day, looking to do the same here, and it does. It changes up the way these kind of stack lobbies play out, because you don't just take shots on enemies you might be able to eliminate. It's just getting damage for the sake of damage, but quite often it can get you kind of held on your rotations too. People are looking to aggressively take some damage on you, so if you're not in the right spot and you're not picking the right rotation, it's going to cause a lot of issues, as Day looking like he's picking a good rotation, as we get a pretty brutal zone for players. I'm imagining around that kind of caddy corners, misty areas. We get a really far northwest zone, which is quite a difficult zone for some of those players to make it through. They have to rotate all the way from their mythic and difficult POI up through authority, as Day's getting into a fight here.
Yeah, beams and bounces all around. I'm not sure what Day wants to do, which person he wants to beam first. There's his target. Nice quick shot off Posick, actually going down. Such an amazing player. Won't be able to see this Endgame. Now it's Drowsy and Seatplit, who are also just taking this fight, but I think Day now is the one conducting everything. He's going on the wall, box to box. Crash pads might be able to save Krause up top, but I don't think it's going to be possible. Day is still chasing him down. I think he needs to calm down just a little bit before he gets a little bit too ahead of himself.
No, it looks like he wants to get ahead of himself. Like the launch pad came out and Day is still following here. He's chasing it down. Doesn't need this fight. He has that launch pad on the ground if he wanted to just box up on it, but no. Day thinking he wants to close out this fight. He did come through and he heard the Drowie was taking some damage. Day up against the wall now. I think we're going to have a classic charge shotgun versus tack. No, Drowie has the charge shotgun as well, so he can play that defensive game. He's dropping down, just trying to get what he can out of this fight, but Day is just giving him no breathing room. He is not letting him get out of this one, as I believe that's Drowie's second launch pad. That's 2 launch pads placed there just to get away from Day. That is not how Drowie wanted to play his mid game, as Day still not letting up. This is a stack lobby, Day. This is not a pub. You have to slow down here, but maybe this is the play here, getting some eliminations on the board early, as Blake now looking to see if he can capitalize on this, putting out more pressure on Drowie, and after all that, Day doesn't even get the elimination. Oh, he does. He gets that last shot, as Blake, as pressure applied, is just enough to give Day the opening to finally lock it down.
I mean, just think about Day's playstyle, right? All the way until the last game for semifinals, the round just before this, he was in first place. After that, he got bumped down to 4th, but he's playing aggressive and it's working out today. The people who end up in the top 5 for semis and then play this round, they're under a lot more pressure. So Day is just sticking to his game. He's going to keep diving in boxes. I just hope it doesn't end up bad for him.
Yeah, we saw that a little bit as well. P-God, obviously, who came first, and I believe day 1 of the NA East qualifiers as well. He came into that with a quite aggressive semi-final, toned it back for finals, but he did. He still stuck to his gameplay. It's sometimes not just aggression, it's just confidence as well. And in these set lobbies, especially some of these players who, wow. Sizz Lucky, now that's an old classic name going down here. Sizz Lucky, a fan favorite one to go down here. Oak is picking up that elimination. I was going to say, some of these players who maybe their first time in the finals, having those nerves, they can be easy eliminations. Those mistakes you wouldn't expect top tier players to make are normally going to happen in these first few games as they try and feel out the lobby.
Yeah, filling out the lobby and filling out the map too. On the bottom right, it's kind of blown up there. You can see exactly who's under more pressure on the south side and the east side of the zone. They all have to move in, but look at how much space is already taken from Okus's point of view. Yeah, he's got 1 elimination, but that doesn't actually make him have any more space. Pandoosh, TCAS up top. These guys are not really side by side, but they're claiming every possible beach, hill, shore, and grassy land that no one else can really tag to.
Yeah, and we saw how brutal water zones could be last season. This season, not so bad, because usually the water is now so shallow that you can build out of it, but it gives very clear sight lines. If you don't have some kind of rotation and you're just swimming through the zone, you have nothing to hide behind except for other players' builds. So this first game is a really, really difficult game for these players because they have to set up insanely well. If they pick the wrong island, if they try and go too far, nice headshot snipe. Ninja on height goes down. He makes it out of Steamy. He doesn't get too far, though. This isn't that far from Steamy, but we've seen how deadly that headshot headshot snipe can be. With only 2 bullets remaining, Shaw gets his second elimination of the game.
You were talking about players having to set up Aussie. Right there, Ninja on height got completely set up going for a beam back in Storm. Just when you think you're safe, I think that's the most dangerous time you can kind of pick to try to go for beams next to the zone. That's a big snipe. That's really good there. And we'll see exactly what that ends up going on for in the late game.
Looks like Ninja on Heist out of here. We just got word from the back that it is Druck who came 75th in DreamHack Finals. So definitely a player we should be aware of here as well. Let's see how he plays out the rest of his days as we see Flopperson with no floppers in the inventory, but 4 of those chug splashes and 2 crash pads. One thing I'm noticing from the people we've seen, Shire, that we're kind of jumping around today, they haven't had a lot of mobility. I'm not seeing a lot of mobility on this map as Roller Pair goes down using what little mobility he probably had with that launch pad.
I know exactly why. That's what the 3rd launch we've seen and maybe the 8th crash pad so far this game. Everyone's just trying to play so safe and disengaged that all the mobility is just basically leaving their inventories. Look at how tight it is on the minimap on the bottom right, Aussie. You basically have to use your big mobility if you want to get past these players.
Yeah, we're going to have to as well. That's what we saw that as well before. Day just chasing someone down, just running, using all the mobility they had. So maybe that's why some of it's going down as Flopperson looking to try and make his rotate on foot and not have to use those crash pads. We've seen how good they can for those late game refreshes. As one of the main issues right now that a lot of these comp Fortnite players are facing at the highest level is the amount of metal availability on the map. It's hard to get it right now and they need their refreshes endgame.
And while we're looking at Rokane right now, him and Gabe are the 2 people that basically had to play or got to play in every single finals and finish in the top 50 in at least the first 2. So this is really good. I want to see exactly how Rokane gets to be in these positions every single week, every single day, and what he does uniquely from early, mid to late game.
It's an incredible consistency. You got to think some of these guys have been playing Fortnite at the highest level for up to 7-8 hours by this point already, and he's doing that 2 days on the weekend and still placing this consistently as Rokane's putting out some pressure now. He needs something though. The Rokane, the consistency might go out the window here because he only has 28 bullets left in that medium ammo for the AR, and he has no spare shields, so he's going to need something pretty soon.
One big thing with all these players that have qualified, we kind of saw it with that little package right before game 1. A lot of them are used to wins, used to safety. Flight completely out of there. He's being taken off by Miro. They're just used to playing box-to-box, Aussie, and that's just not possible. You can see it. When you become and try to feel kind of safe, that's when things look the worst for you. You just get immediately taken out.
Yeah, Miro is someone that last week when I was watching with Monster, who he has a good relationship with. He is a very aggressive player, and I was incredibly impressed. But he had those big games, those big pop-off games, or he had those kind of like drop-offs where he just got taken out a little bit too early. These are some of the best players in the world, trying to take those box fights that would normally be such like an advantage for them, and they're so comfortable with. They're versing good players. We see someone getting hit by the Shark, as Shark Week's coming up, showing us. We might have to tune into Party Royale to see why these Sharks are being so aggressive for these players. Takes him down as NorCal Kamari gets an elimination, but again, has the mobility, but doesn't have the meds right now.
I don't think it even matters how much mobility you have. Just look at the amount of players that probably also have crash pads. Yeah, you'll be able to get in the zone, but are you going to be in someone's box? Are you going to land on grass cut by accident and get one charged? Who knows? So you have to be very careful, even if you do have the movement.
Yeah, we've been seeing that a lot with those crash pads. Quite often they just go astray as Rokane gets taken out. There it is, just a one tap from Presto, takes down Rokane. The consistency is going out the window, but still got 5 games to make it count. With how good he's been playing, I would not be surprised if he just maybe had a bit of a misplay here with his rotation, maybe change something up, and he's going to go back to his old play style. But this is a difficult zone to start with, as Presto now setting up in this cone, just looking for the damage going around him. Here's someone get the shield crack, needs to try and find them if he wants to, knows the players beneath him, has the floor, but I don't believe he has control of that one, as it is Flopperson who made that rotate earlier. And yeah, this is getting pretty dense, Show.
I don't know what's going on. This might be one of the most interesting mid-games I've seen, where no one's really pushing box to box. Yeah, they're basing up, but it's just like what Boog is doing. Big tags from long range, Smuggy going down, and it's just like you're not really getting all the refreshes because it's right there. Someone's right there next to the box. They'll be able to get in there, get all the mats that you work so hard for, and now you're using mobility. You're low on mats. You're Booga in this situation. You're actually at a net negative overall for your loadout.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't get anything from it. He got the siphon, but that's about all he has to claim from that one. And yeah, like you said, it's you get the eliminations, but you have to get the refreshes off it. It's why I'm seeing a lot of the players that are doing so consistently. Is Booger just has to pick up the scraps. He gets a bit of mats, but again, what he's really looking for is those extra meds to carry. Just so if he gets tagged up endgame, he's going to struggle. But I was saying a lot of those players we're seeing play so consistently, Benji, Fishy, Stretch, Arkram, they're changing up their play style in this current meta to try and go for those refreshes really close to him in endgame, rather than maybe going for those beams out of the sky. Because yeah, it gets you a bit of points, but in such a high high consistency placement format. And what I'm talking about, obviously, is how many points you get for placement versus eliminations. It is worth getting the eliminations only really if you get the refreshes. 1 point's nice, but really it's the materials. As illest goes down to Pandush, though.
Yeah, you can feel that type of placement format just being played right now, too. Yeah, it's not a moving zone, but this is the effect of just playing for that endgame, staying in your boxes. Every POV we're seeing is basically a window shot, timed perfectly, gaining eliminations. Pandush did it. We saw Booga do it too. Flopperson tried to, and now he's also moving out very early. I'm just very curious to see how these guys will rotate right after this. That's another one. Onto Jared's. Pandush is looking really good right now.
Well, so far it looks like the Fortnite gods being a little bit favorable, though, where I see those two dense kind of like amounts of players. Not only did a lot of them down here in this southern zone get the half-half, also there's 2 airdrops. That means there's going to be a guaranteed community launch pad for all those players, which they're all going to know that as well. They're looking around each other to think who's going to place it. As Stretch goes down in the feed, obviously our winner from last qualifying day 2 has gone down here. So this lobby, this round is really making a lot of these top players struggle.
The Fortnite gods might be next to Bandush's box too. Not only did he get 2 eliminations, he gets a care package, an airdrop basically right beside him to take for a free launch pad. Here is a huge bunch of boxes though. Clarity, we got Zextra, we got Day up top too. These guys are basically in the top 5 from semifinals, and they're going to be rotating right beside each other.
Yeah, it looks like Clary's going to be setting up for that crash pad as well. He's going to try and maybe kind of link a few of them together, obviously based on momentum. If you can get a few crash pads going in a row, it's quite favorable for you. There's one. Let's see if he hits the second one as well. He does, and we'll see how far he goes. Look at that. He does. He makes an almost complete opposite half-half. But as you said it earlier, Shayo, quite often when you make these rotates, you end up in the box of an enemy, or they end up in your box, and Clarity reacts quicker, takes down Crispy, and he gets a good rotate with a nice little refresh now.
That is the perfect thing for Clarity, though. It's usually trouble for a lot of other players, but if you put this man in someone else's box or even put someone else in his, he will always win every single time. I don't know if I've ever seen Clarity even choke a clutch, but he's so good in these stressful moments, and you just saw it right there.
Yeah, it's that tack as well. He's got that tack, so you can kind of have that quicker fire rate to really follow up. If you're running in with that charged shotgun, you got to hit your shot right now. And quite often, when you end up in someone's box like that and it's panicked and you don't really know what's going on around you, the charge can be so unforgiving. As Clarity now just kind of working on taking some of these builds and boxes around him, making sure he has a little safety net, because there's going to be a lot of people moving soon. He wants to make sure no one else moves through his box now, so he can just get those placements. As we see, Hoofishy, someone who's been performing very, very well recently, who I don't think has qualified yet. I'm not entirely sure, but he's got a nice little box there near Clarity. I'm seeing Mars as well in this one. Glace, who's looking great. Day, Miro, some of those aggressive players we saw from earlier. So looking like on this edge near Hoofish, he needs to be careful. I'm looking at Miro a Day to try and go a bit aggressive here on the start of this rotate.
Yeah, this rotate might be one of the hardest when it comes to solos because it's very, very mat dependent. Yes, it's not all the way over water, but there's a bunch of players that need to go all the way right past it, back over onto land, and then after that claim their own layers. Reverse is way ahead of it though, so he'll get to make all the decisions first. He's above Surge 2, which is also ticking. 13 people need to go down for that Surge to end. Reverse though is looking really, really good in this position.
Yeah, 36 build. Reverse is one of those players, obviously qualified for World Cup, an insane solo play, incredibly smart, and I find that he is one of the best Shambles players I've seen. And when I say Shambles, I'm looking at loadouts like this. No spare shield, only bandages for meds, and only 34 builds. He can usually make this work. He is phenomenal in these low ground positions, and just like that, you see it. He picks up a refresh on Ace, and it's the caddy launcher. Not only did he just pick up a refresh with what little he had, he picked up a refresh on the most stacked player in this lobby.
Stacked, but Reverse still isn't. Just 4 more shockwave launcher uses left. Booga is on the back wall, 2 in his box. Sure, get out of there. It's time to go all the way back to land. Booga has 18 shields now, enough to pop a little bit more, a lot of mobility. He just needs to situate himself really fast, heal all the way up, and I feel like he's looking at a really good game ahead of him.
Yeah, he's got that launch pad. He's also got the 4 crash pads. So he's got as much rotation as he could need right now with that 1 flopper, which is, if you take a couple of those storm ticks, is so much more forgiving as he makes the rotate across. But what is not forgiving is going through the sky with players in the lobby that have aim like that. Booga almost gets taken out, but he has his little breathing room to get his material, to get his meds off now. Still got some material in the back pocket. Booga is looking really, really good in this lobby, Shayo.
Yeah, he's got his secret weapon, and that's materials. 82 of them to boot too, and we're just hitting the 7th zone. If he gets to just basically have his own lair, no! He went to the skies, you can't build there, and Booga gets taken out.
That's some incredible aim right now. That is the issue right now. Hits a short pad as well. Even sets it up to minimize how long he was in the sky for, but it's not enough. We're seeing a few players here on low ground, and this zone is going straight across this very flat terrain now. So that low ground is not such a bad spot to be, as we see Aspect, who's trying to go for the high ground, someone who's qualified for every single one of these finals. So he's looking to stamp his mark on it. Maybe get a top 5 place here as Casca goes down. And Knack mid layer right now is insanely congested. Reverse is still in this one. Remember, he does have the caddy launcher in the back pocket. One of the most powerful weapons here, with only 2 rockets holding the angles with Kit's mythic shotgun. I talked about power weapons. That mythic shotgun can hit so very hard on this low ground, and he finally gets some minis. He might actually get above 100 health here, and he does. Only 14 builds though shy. He's got to make something big happen soon.
He was a ticking time bomb on low ground. It was only a matter of time before he wants to go for height. He got 8 more rockets from that elimination too, so now he's pushing all the way for the top. I think it's Turkas up there who's now on the defensive side. Only crash pads can save him. Reverse is in control though of the lobby. 2 eliminations. He is out of mats, so the next decision he makes is the most crucial one.
We see Dubs on low ground right now, so we've got 2 solo World Cup qualifiers still in this lobby. Dubs trying to make his way through. He's got 26 builds left, 2 eliminations, got the crash pads, but Reverse he's at the tippity top on his throne, but he has no build, so can he hold it? Is someone going to dethrone him, or can he stay up there? Dubs still pushing through on these lower ground layers. We see Pando still in this one as well. Turkus is down there. Who Fishy on the low ground near Furious. That is an aggressive fight as Reverse goes for it, using the shockwave to stay off these builds to make sure no one edits him in. He's got to try and make it happen. He does. Can he jump up? Can he get this shotgun shot? No, the player's staying beneath the build, and he just can't get in. Takes the heavy shot back for it, trying to make his way through. He's dropping down. This is it. This is do or die now. Reverse goes through, gets the elimination. He is just dropping down through layers. Dubs is down there though. They're going to run into each other soon. Don't know if he can hold on to it, Shio.
Reverse has been jumping around this whole time while there's a 4-way box fight going on low ground. Still going up again. Turkus has dropped down. Dubs is just flowing into the storm. He's trying to survive. 18 HP. Hoofishy and Furious are still battling it down on low ground. Dubs has a chance for a big charge. Only 1 mat left. Is he going to go for a nice quick hit? One more edit. He cannot find it. Reverse gets Furious all the way from height. Dubs literally is just hanging on by a thread. A 1v1v1 scenario. There's a big hit. Turkus goes down. Now it's Dubs versus who I can only assume is Reverse 2K. No more shockwave launcher left, just position. And oh my god, Reverse with a huge reversal from low ground. What a shot on the Dubs for the win.
Reverse picks it up. He brings it home as well. We see 2 World Cup players going head to head. The old Vanguard, they still prove that they have what it takes to go up against all these other insanely stacked players. There was so much going on there, Shio. I think we're going to have to throw it to the analyst desk to see exactly how Reverse pulled that off, just bouncing around with the shockwave launcher.
Guys, there was a lot of action happening there. So much of Kit's amazing new mythic weapon just completely caused so much chaos. Mad respect, though, because Reverse used it, like, typically you would use it to try and launch other players into the storm. Reverse, though, was like, look, I have no materials, and I'm going to just use this to stay away from people until I have to fight them. That was really well executed, Sundown.
He did a great job using what he had in his utility and his inventory. The lack of builds kind of towards the end, he wanted to get on the edge of the fights, but wasn't necessarily sure how to navigate it. So putting the shockwave launcher to good use and hitting shots when he needed to.
Guys, I was going to say, having both perspectives of that was so cool, because while we got to watch Reverse hold on and understand, like, mechanically, I have to make it to the end if I want a chance to win. On the other end, you got to see Dubs just navigating, man, absolutely sick. Now, of course, guys, we got to see the standings. We got to understand where these players are after end of that last game. Reverse 2K picking up the victory royale will mean he's holding that #1 spot with 20 total points and 6 eliminations. But Dubs, that second place there with the 5 eliminations, has put him into second place for right now.